Good morning, students. How are you? Okay, fine. Yesterday we have completed combination of the cells. In that combination of the cells, one is the series combination, another one is the parallel combination. We have studied detailedly with the derivation, series and parallel combination of the cells, and we concluded for which combination is needed for which purpose. The series combination of the cell is used when we need more EMF, and the parallel combination of the cell is used when we need more current. And what about when we need more power? We go for mixed grouping. By connecting the cells in the mixed form, we get more power. That is what for our syllabus. We have got only two combinations, one is series and parallel. After that, combination of the cells. The last thing of the topic, we have started with the Ohm's law. Then we come across what are the limitations of the Ohm's law. What is that? The limitations of the Ohm's law. The Ohm's law is having the limitations. First one. While giving the statement, we already have gave the statement that the current flowing through the conductor is directly proportional to potential difference provided the temperature and other physical conditions are kept constant. When you analyze this statement, there are the two last terms, temperature and other physical conditions are constant. I bring those terms for the limitations. The first limitations, the Ohm's law is valid when the temperature is maintained constant. If the temperature is varied, then there will be no validation of what? Ohm's law. Second one, while dealing the Ohm's law, we use the term other physical conditions are kept constant, which belongs to the conductor. The second limitation is all the physical conditions are kept constant. Then only the Ohm's law is valid. Third one, the Ohm's law is applicable when the current flowing through the conductor is steady current. What is that? When the current flowing through the conductor is steady current, then only we can apply the Ohm's law. And the fourth point, the Ohm's law does not obey for the semiconductors. Semiconductors do not obey the Ohm's law. Then we come across that why the semiconductors not obeying the Ohm's law. The second book, that is nothing but while dealing the semiconductors, we have got the detailed explanation for that. Then after that, fifth one, the Ohm's law is not applicable when the temperature is very high and very low. Because of that factor, we have told that while giving the statement, by keeping the temperature is kept constant. If there be no variation of the temperature takes place, that is nothing but if the temperature is very high and very low, we cannot apply the Ohm's law. The Ohm's law is not applicable when the temperature is very high or very low. Now these are the limitations of Ohm's law. Right? Then after that, we come across the certain things, that is nothing but ohmic and non-ohmic devices. Ohmic and non-ohmic devices. There are so many devices we are using in the laboratories in our day-to-day life for the electric and electronic circuit. And what are those ohmic and non-ohmic devices? First I come across ohmic devices. The name itself indicates that the devices which obeys the Ohm's law, then such devices are called ohmic devices. The devices which obey the Ohm's law, then such devices are called ohmic devices. The nature of the graph for the ohmic devices, if you go for current versus voltage, the nature of the graph is straight line. And what are the examples for ohmic devices? The ohmic devices, your voltmeter belongs to ohmic device. Ammeter belongs to ohmic device. Galvanometer belongs to ohmic device. Now these are the examples of what? Ohmic devices. Voltmeter, ammeter, galvanometer, etc. are belongs to ohmic devices. The nature of the graph for ohmic devices, if I plot the graph, current versus voltage, the nature of the graph is straight line passing through the ODC. Then what about non-ohmic devices? The name itself indicates that non-ohmic. The devices which does not obey the Ohm's law, such devices are called non-ohmic devices. The devices which does not obey the Ohm's law, then such devices are called non-ohmic devices. Then nature of the graph for non-ohmic devices is not a straight line. When it is not a straight line, what are the examples for non-ohmic devices? Voltmeter. Don't be confused. Voltmeter belongs to ohmic devices, but voltmeter belongs to what? Non-ohmic devices. Semiconductors belongs to what? Non-ohmic devices. If you go for diode, transistor, diode, etc., all these belongs to non-ohmic devices. What is the nature of the graph for non-ohmic devices? When I plot the current versus voltage, if I take the example for the semiconductors belongs to negative temperature coefficient. They are non-ohmic devices. The nature of the graph is not a straight line. That is nothing but what? Curve. Now this is about non-ohmic devices. So let me glance once again. One is ohmic device, another one is non-ohmic devices. The device which obey the Ohm's law, then such devices are called ohmic devices. Example, voltmeter, ammeter, galvanometer, etc. And the nature of the graph for ohmic devices is a straight line. When you plot the graph current versus voltage, the nature of the graph is nothing but a straight line for ohmic devices. For this, the nature of the graph is straight line passing through the horizon, current versus voltage. For non-ohmic devices, the devices which does not obey the Ohm's law, then such devices are called non-ohmic devices. The nature of the graph for non-ohmic devices is not a straight line, it is a curve. If I plot the graph current versus voltage, the nature of the graph is curve. The example for non-ohmic devices are voltmeter. Almost all the semiconductors belongs to non-ohmic devices. Example, diode, triode, transistor, etc. So this is about ohmic and non-ohmic devices. Now we come across end of this from this Ohm's. Then we are entering the main important and the fundamental thing in the current electricity, that is nothing but Kirchhoff's law. What is that? Kirchhoff's laws. Kirchhoff's laws. Name of the scientist Robert Gustav Kirchhoff. He formulated two laws to deal the current and voltage, and those laws are called Kirchhoff's laws. And you get the query in your mind, sir, already we have studied the Ohm's law, that also deals with the current and voltage. Even though studying the Ohm's law, then what is the necessity of coming across Kirchhoff's law? The same analysis I go for what? Electrostatics. Already we have studied the electrostatics. In electrostatics already, first we studied the Coulomb's law, then after that we come across Gauss theorem. When you compare both the things, then by studying the Coulomb's law, what is the necessity of studying the Gauss theorem? So we conclude that Coulomb's law deals with only 2-point charges. If I give the charges to the conductor for the distribution of the charges on the surface of the conductor, the Coulomb's law is failure. I need the distribution of the charges on the surface of the conductor. Wherever the Coulomb's law is failure, I entered with what? Gauss theorem. Gauss theorem deals with what? The distribution of the charges. By considering the closed surface, it deals with the flux, then it calculates the electric field. So, wherever the Coulomb's law is failure, we emerge with the new law in electrostatics. That is called the fundamental law of electrostatics. That is Gauss theorem. Similarly, in current electricity, wherever the Ohm's law is failure, we emerge with the new law to deal the current and voltage. That is nothing but Kirchhoff's laws. Why the Ohm's law is failure? Whatever the circuit we have dealt up to this much, we have got the systematic arrangement of the circuit elements, and we have used a single cell, and there is a flow of current in the circuit, the circuit elements are connected either in series or parallel in systematic manner. When you go for more number of cells and the circuit elements are connected in a complicated manner, then such complicated circuit is not dealt by the Ohm's law. To deal that complicated circuit, we emerge with the new law in current electricity that is proposed by the scientist Robert Gustav Kirchhoff, and simply it is known as Kirchhoff's law. So deal the complicated circuit, Ohm's law is completely failure. So, and those complicated circuits are dealt by the scientist Kirchhoff, and he formulated two basic laws for dealing the current and voltage, and those laws are called Kirchhoff's law, and they are termed as a Kirchhoff's current law and Kirchhoff's voltage law. Simply we call it KCL and KVL. So the Kirchhoff's law deals with law of conservation of energy and law of conservation of charge. The KCL belongs to law of conservation of charge, and KVL signifies the law of conservation of energy. KCL signifies the law of conservation of charge. KVL signifies Kirchhoff's voltage law, signifies the law of conservation of energy. How it signifies the law of conservation of charge and law of conservation of energy, we come across dealing with individually the Kirchhoff's laws. So according to the Robert Gustav Kirchhoff, he formulated the two laws. One is Kirchhoff's current law, that is simply termed as a KCL, and he go for dealing the voltage, that is Kirchhoff's second law, voltage law, that is called simply KVL. This is the first law and this is second law to deal the complicated circuit. So there are the two laws formulated by the scientist Kirchhoff. One is Kirchhoff's current law, that is simply called KCL, and second one is Kirchhoff's voltage law, that is called KVL. That is, first one is called law of conservation of charge. It signifies the law of conservation of charge, and the second law KVL signifies the law of conservation of energy. Before dealing the Kirchhoff's laws, there are some important terms frequently are used while dealing both the laws. What are those important terms related to Kirchhoff's law? Some important terms. Some important terms. First one is branch. Second one is electrical network. Electrical network. Third one is node or junction. Fourth one is loop or mesh. MESH. So these are the four terms we have frequently used while dealing the Kirchhoff's laws. Then what is that branch? Branch is nothing but the combination of the circuit elements, usually in a series manner. The circuit elements are connected in series provided with two terminals. Then it is called branch. Then we come across electrical network. Electrical network is nothing but where the circuit elements are connected in complicated manner. Where the circuit elements are connected in complicated manner, then that is nothing but what? Electrical network. And third one, node or junction. When you come across electric circuit or electronic circuit, where the circuit elements are meet at a point, the point where the circuit elements meet, that is called node or junction. In a circuit, where the circuit elements are meet at a particular point, and that particular point where the circuit elements meet, that is called a node or junction. Then we come across loop or mesh. Loop or mesh is a closed path for current. Loop or mesh is a closed path for current. Now these are the terms we are frequently using while dealing with Kirchhoff's law. What are those terms? Branch. Branch is nothing but, usually in the circuit elements are connected in series and provided with what? The two terminals. And the electrical network where in the circuit where the circuit elements are connected in complicated manner, then it is called the network. In the electrical circuit where the circuit elements meet at a particular point, and the point where the circuit elements are meet, that is called node or junction, and loop or mesh is nothing but a closed path for current. By knowing these important terms, we go for what? First law, that is called Kirchhoff's law, KCL, or it signifies the law of conservation of shortage. Then what is that? KCL. The statements are simply the single line statements. Then we go for the explanation and analyzation of that law. First I go for Kirchhoff's current law. Then what the statement is provided by the Kirchhoff. According to the Kirchhoff's first law or Kirchhoff's current law states that the sum of the current at a node or junction, the sum of the current at a node or junction is equals to 0. Kirchhoff's first law or Kirchhoff's current law states that the sum of the current at a node or junction is equals to 0. Now this is a one line statement, and this statement should be analyzed with the explanation. So the sum of the current at a node or junction is equals to 0. It means that I need the point where the circuit elements are meet, then it is called node or junction. Then what is that circuit elements? I take the resistance, because to make the flow of current I need the conductor. Every conductor has what? Its own resistance. And I make the circuit elements, the resistance are to be meet at a point O. I take from the different direction. Now these are the, I take 4 resistance where these resistance meet at a point O. Now this is nothing but node or junction. We are using the source somewhere else. They are providing the current. Now these are the direction of the current in the circuit. I1, I2, I3, I4. We are maintaining the potential difference. There is a source of current that provides the current. Now these are the direction of the current assigned. So according to the statement, sum of the current at a junction is equal to 0. If I follow the statement, I1 plus I2 plus I3 plus I4 is equals to 0 according to the statement, then what is the use of assigning the direction? When you see the figure, I go for the explanation of that statement. So for that explanation, I take the junction where the 4 resistances R1, R2, R3 and R4, these are the resistances. There is a current flowing through them, I1, I2, I3 and I4, and the direction of the current is assigned as shown in the figure. There are some currents which are coming towards the junction. There are the certain currents which are moving away from the junction. But I cannot apply this one. Now this is our statement, sum of the current at a junction equals to 0. When it is valid, I must take the sign convention. I cannot apply this one. Then I will go for sign convention. Sign convention. What is that sign convention for KCL? So first one, there are the only 2 types of the current. One are the certain currents are coming the junction, certain currents are going away from the junction. First one. The currents which are entering the junction are taken as positive. The currents which are coming towards the junction are taken as positive. Second one, the currents which are moving away from the junction are taken as negative. What is that? The currents which are entering towards the junction are taken as positive. And second one, the currents which are moving away from the junction are taken as negative. Simply I can say that the incoming currents are taken as positive and outgoing currents are taken as negative. From where? From the junction. The incoming currents are taken as positive and the outgoing currents are taken as negative. So the incoming currents are taken as positive. Now this is the node. Simply I make the notation. This is the node. The currents towards the junction are taken as positive. The current which are moving away from the junction are taken as negative. The currents which are entering towards the junction are taken as positive. The currents which are moving away from the junction are taken as negative. This is our node. Now this is nothing but simply to make the things to be understand easily. Now this is our notation. The incoming currents are taken as positive and the outgoing currents are taken as negative. By using this sign convention, I go for implementation of statement. According to the statement, the sum of the currents at a junction is equal to 0. I apply this one with the sign convention. What are the currents which are coming towards the junction? I1. Sum of the currents. Is it positive? Yes. Plus I2 is positive. Nothing should be written on with I2. That should be understood. Positive. Plus sum of the currents. Then what about I3 and I4? They are moving away from the junction. I3, is it away from the junction? Then I take minus I3 plus. What about I4? I4 is moving away from the junction. Minus I4. Sum of the currents at a junction is equal to 0. I implement the statement with the sign convention. So I1 and I2 are the incoming currents, they are taken as positive. I3 and I4 are outgoing currents, they are taken as negative and they are assigned with negative sign. According to the statement, the sum of the currents, I have taken the positive sign here. Sum of the currents at a junction is equal to 0 and the currents are mentioned with what? With the sign convention. Incoming currents are taken as positive, outgoing currents are taken as negative. Then I solve the equation. I1 plus I2 minus I3 plus into minus minus I4 is equal to 0. I shift the negative terms towards the 0 side, they become what? Positive. I3 plus I4. Now this is the conclusion of the statement. Then what the final equation reveals? Now these are the incoming currents and these are the outgoing currents. Whatever the statement is given, sum of the currents at a junction or node equals to 0 and it gives the one more conclusion after analyzing the statement through the explanation. I1 plus I2 is equals to I3 plus I4. These are nothing but incoming currents and these are nothing but the outgoing currents. Then I can make the statement sum of the incoming currents is equals to sum of the outgoing currents. Sum of the incoming currents is equals to sum of the outgoing currents. Now this should be understood and it can be used while solving the problems. We cannot use the statement while solving the problems. Conclusion of that statement, sum of the incoming current is equals to sum of the outgoing current. From this equation we can clear that the KCL signifies the law of conservation of charge. So current is nothing but rate of flow of charges, I equals to Q by T. Then I1 plus I2, Q1 by T, Q2 by T, I3, Q3 by T, I4, Q2 by T. Then I can say that from the current is directly proportional to charge. When the interval of the time is nothing but the instantaneous, that should be considered as a what? The constant factor here. So whatever the charges are entered, Q1, I is directly proportional to Q. Whatever the charges are entered, Q2. Whatever the charges are left, Q4. Whatever the charges are left, Q3. Whatever the charges are, whatever the number of charges are entered the junction, the same amount of the charges are left the junction. The charges are neither be created nor destroyed. They simply enter the junction and left the junction. The total amount of the charge in the system remains the same. Hence, it signifies the law of conservation of charge. From this, it is clear that whatever amount of the charges are entered the junction, the same amount of the charges are left the junction. The charge is neither be created nor the destroyed. Simply they entered to the junction and left the junction. Hence, the total amount of the charge in the system remains the same. Hence, it signifies the law of conservation of charge. Now this is about KCL, Kirchhoff's current law. Is it clear? So there is a simple statement. According to the KCL, the sum of the current at a junction is equals to 0. And we have analyzed that one by using the figure. I have taken the 4 resistors. There are the sources, they are providing the current. Now these are the direction of the current assigned as shown in the figure. From the figure it is clear that there are the certain currents entering the junction and the certain currents are leaving the junction. Then according to the sign convention, the KCL has got its own sign convention. First one, the currents which are entering the junction, the current towards the junction are taken as positive. The currents which are moving away from the junction are taken as negative. By the application of the sign convention to the statement, I go for sum of the currents at the junction is equal to 0 with the sign convention. The incoming currents are taken as positive to the junction. The outgoing currents are taken as negative. They are moving away from the junction, negative sign. Then I solve the equation. Then finally, I set the equation I1 plus I2 equals to I3 plus I4. Then it clears that the sum of the incoming currents is equal to sum of the outgoing currents. Hence, current is directly proportional to charge. Whatever the amount of the charges are entered the junction, the same amount of the charges are left the junction. Hence, the total number of the charges in the system remains same. Hence, it signifies the law of conservation of charge. Is it clear? Shall I move for the next? KVL. Yes. Just be concentrated, nothing should be there. Instead of sitting the classes, you are sitting in your home with enjoyment. But concentrate on the things. There are the certain tricks to be used for solving the derivation and other things. I go for KVL. Kirchhoff's voltage law. Kirchhoff's voltage law. Simply we call it KVL. Then what is that statement? Again one line statement here, but explanation and analysis is important. Kirchhoff's voltage law is applicable for closed circuit. And what about the KCL? KCL is applied for both closed circuit and open circuit. The circuit is open, we cannot apply the Kirchhoff's voltage law. There is a continuation path for the current. Because of that reason, we have taken the separate branch while dealing the KCL. Somewhere else the sources are there providing the current. So we need only direction of the current. From that, we have go for what? Incoming currents and outgoing currents. We give the statement. Sum of the incoming currents equals sum of the outgoing currents. There will be no closed path is required for the dealing KCL. Usually, the KCL can be dealt with both open circuit as well as closed circuit. So this is nothing but here we need what? Closed circuit, a closed path. In KCL we do not need closed path. Can apply for both the things, closed path as well as open path. But KVL deals with what? Closed path. According to the KVL, for a closed loop, in a closed loop, the sum of EMF in a closed loop is equals to the sum of the product of current and resistance of that loop. So according to KVL, what is the statement? The KVL states that for a closed loop, the sum of EMF is equals to the sum of the product of current and resistance of that loop. So we can say that simply the sum of EMF equals to sum of IR product. For a closed loop, sum of EMF in a closed loop is equals to sum of the product of current and resistance of that loop. So that is nothing but the sum of EMF is equals to sum of IR product. To have this KVL explanation, I go for a simple circuit. I go for explanation. It signifies the law of conservation of energy. Then after explanation we come to conclusion how it signifies the law of conservation of energy. I take a closed loop. Simply I take the triangle. Now I introduce the circuit elements. There is a EMF and the resistance. So Now this is nothing but EMF E1 having EMF E2. It has got its interactions. That is negligible factor we consider. Because now it gives the current I1, it gives the current I2. Somewhere else the source is existed, it provides the current I3. Now these are the circuit elements. Resistance R1, resistance R2, and resistance R3. Now this is our closed loop. So I take on the closed loop having the EMF E1 and E2. The respective resistance in the loop is R1, R2 and R3, and the current I1, I2, and there is a source which provides the current I3. I name it ABC. Is a loop. A closed path for current is known as loop. To apply the KVL, we can trace the path from any point. Again we arrive to the same point, then it is called a loop. Either you go according to your choice, either you choice. You go in clockwise direction or anti-clockwise direction. You choose your own point. Either it starts with A or B or C. With free-minded. We have to be going in the clockwise direction only. We have to be going in the anti-clockwise direction only. So why not in the clockwise means you are telling that, you are asking that why not in the clockwise direction. If I say that go in clockwise direction only, your question is that why not in the anti-clockwise direction. You go according to your choice. You take the point, any point. You choose any point and you trace the path. That loop either clockwise direction or anti-clockwise direction. To apply the KVL, once again we come across what? The sign convention. That is the most important thing. In the KVL, if you understand the sign convention, how the topic ends, the next derivation with Stone Bridge, we can easily do it without any having the mental tense. So, in the KCL, we know that what are those sign convention? Incoming currents are taken as positive, outgoing currents are taken as negative. That is the simplest one. Now here we have got the sign convention for EMF as well as IR product. The statement itself indicates that sum of EMF is equals to sum of IR product in a loop. So I need the sign convention for first IR product. Sign convention for IR product. Then I come across EMF. Sign convention for KVL. First one for IR product. Be concentrated here. So we are moving in a loop. We need the loop or mesh a closed path. We start with any point and arrive to the same point, then it makes what completion of the one loop or a path. So, for IR product sign convention, while moving in a loop, if the current is along the direction of your motion, while moving in a loop, if the current is along the direction of your motion, then the IR product is taken as positive. While moving in a loop, if the current is along the direction of the motion, then the IR product is taken as positive. While tracing the loop, if the current is along the direction of your trace, then the IR product is taken as positive. While moving in a loop, second one, while moving in a loop, if the current is opposite to the direction of your motion, then the IR product is taken as negative. While moving in a loop, if the current is along the direction of your trace, then the IR product is taken as positive. While moving in a loop, if the current is opposite to the direction of the motion, then it is taken as negative. While moving in a loop, if the current is along the direction of the motion, then it is taken as positive. If while moving in a loop, if the current is opposite to the direction of your tracing the path, then it is taken as negative. Now this is our first concept. What is our sign convention for IR product? While moving in a loop, if the current is along the direction of your motion, then it is taken as positive. Then IR product is taken as positive. While moving in a loop, if the current is opposite to the direction of your motion, then it is taken as negative. Is it clear? If the current is along with you while moving in a loop, IR product is taken as positive. If the current is against you while moving in a loop, the arc product is taken as negative simply. If the current is along with you while moving the loop, then the arc product is taken as positive. If the current is again, that is opposite to the direction of your motion, then the arc product is taken as negative. Now this is our first concept. Along the positive against negative. Right? Then KVL for EMF. Well, so sign convention for EMF. Sign convention for EMF. First one. While moving in a loop, if you go from positive to negative terminal of the battery, while moving in a loop, if you go from positive to negative terminal of the battery, then EMF is taken as negative. While moving in a loop, if you go from positive to negative terminal of the battery, then the EMF is taken as negative. That is nothing but falling potential. Positive is considered as a higher potential, negative is considered as a lower potential. There is a falling potential, that is taken as negative. Second point, while moving in a loop, if you go from negative to positive terminal of the battery, then the EMF is taken as positive. Negative is lower potential and positive is higher potential. There is a rise in potential, that is nothing but positive. And whatever that is, rise in potential, fall in potential, that should be kept aside. What should be made to be understood clearly and easily, that should be remembered. While moving in a loop, if we go from positive to negative terminal of the battery, then the EMF is taken as negative. While moving in a loop, if we go from negative to positive terminal of the battery, then the EMF is taken as positive. Now this is our sign convention for arc product and EMF. Are you getting the point? While moving in a loop, if the current is along the direction of your motion, then the arc product is taken as positive. While moving in a loop, if the current is opposite to the direction of your motion, then it is taken as negative. Arc product is taken as negative. Similarly, for sign convention for EMF, while moving in a loop, if you go from positive to negative terminal of the battery, then the EMF is taken as negative. Second one, while tracing the loop, while moving in a loop, if we go from negative to positive terminal of the battery, then the EMF is taken as positive. By using these two sign conventions, I go for analyzing the statement sum of EMF equals to sum of arc product. Is the sign convention is clear? Have the glance. Is it clear? Shall I go for analyzing the circuit? Yes. So important thing is here sign convention. Yes. Then there is no problem for analyzing it. To trace the loop, you start any point. You take any point, either you go in clockwise direction or anti-clockwise direction. So I choose clockwise direction. So I want to go in the anti-clockwise, that is left wheel. You start with anti-clockwise, you go with anti-clockwise direction also. So it starts with a point. You take any point, that is your convenience. For loop, what is that point? A point. So clockwise, AC, BA. For loop, AC, BA. Then sum of EMF is equals to sum of arc product. This is our statement. Sum of EMF equals to sum of arc product. Then I go for analyzing for arc product. Then I come across what? EMF. For arc product, sum of EMF equals to sum of arc product. A to C. When I move from A to C, now this is our direction of motion. I am tracing the path A to C. I am moving A to C. While moving in a loop A to C, Just see that what is the direction of the current. Is the current along with you? Yes. While moving in a loop, A to C is my path. I am tracing the path A to C. The current is along with me. Then the air product is taken as positive. I3 R3 is positive because I am tracing the path A to C. While moving in a loop, if the current is along the direction of your motion, then the air product is positive. Then I3 R3 is positive. Sum of air product with sign convention I3 R3. Then A to C is over. C to B. When I move from C to B, now this is the tracing path C to B. While moving in a loop, if the current is along with you, then the air product is taken as positive. C to B. Is the current is along with you? Yes. You are moving C to B. Current is also moving C to B. Then air product is positive. Then I2 R2 positive. A to C is over. C to B is over. Then final B to A. I am moving B to A. My tracing the path is B to A. I am tracing the path B to A. But the direction of the current is opposite to the direction of the motion. Then what is that air product? Air product is taken as negative. While moving in a loop, if the current is opposite to the direction of the motion, then the air product is taken as negative. Then I1 R1, it is negative, minus I1 R1. We have started from the point A and reached the point A. We have completed one path. Now this is for sum of air product. You can write it sum plus of minus I1 R1, right? Plus or minus is nothing but minus. Now this is for air product, then I go for EMF. Sum of air product is equals to sum of EMF. For the EMF also, I consider the same loop. Then you never will think that the loop is traced for air product is one loop. For EMF, there is another loop. The single loop is considered for both air product and EMF. For air product, I consider my loop is ACBA. So I apply the sum of air product for ACBA by using sign convention. Then I go for, according to the statement, sum of air product equals to sum of EMF. Then I apply the sign convention. Then I go for ACBA. A to C. Is there any EMF? Is there any cell or battery are going to be here? No. No EMF. Leave it. Then C to B. C to B. C to B. While moving in a loop, if you go from negative to positive, C to B, negative to positive, then the EMF is taken as positive. So A2 is positive plus A2, that is nothing but simply A2. We have traced C to B, then what is the final one? A point, that is B to A. So I trace from B to A. When I move from B to A, so while moving in a loop, B to A, if you go from positive to negative terminal of the battery, then the EMF is taken as negative. So B to A, I am moving from positive to negative. EMF is what? Negative, minus E1. Is it clear? So let me once again for EMF, I take the same loop, I trace the path A to C. A to C. There will be no EMF, leave it. Then C to B. C to B. So according to sign convention, C to B, I move from negative to positive. While moving in a loop, if you go from negative to positive terminal of the battery, then the EMF is taken as positive. Negative to positive. Yeah, positive. B2 is positive. Then last one, B to A. When I move from B to A, from positive to negative, according to sign convention, while moving in the loop from positive to negative terminal of the battery, then the EMF is taken as negative. So minus E1. Hence, I can solve this equation simply. I3 R3 plus I2 R2 minus I1 R1 is equals to E2 minus E1. Then I write systematically minus I1 R1 plus I2 R2 plus I3 R3 is equals to E2 minus E1. Now this is our analyzation of Kirchhoff's voltage law with sign convention. So most of the students are feel uncomfortable because of what? Sign convention. Simplest sign convention I have provided. Just to follow that sign convention, analyze the circuit, any kind of the circuit, then you can easily get the equations without writing the terms. Sir, is it possible if I choose another point and trace in the anti-clockwise direction? You have traced the clockwise direction and choose the point A for tracing the loop. I want to take the another point and I go for anti-clockwise direction. Can you get the same equation? Yes, 100%. Then only it is correct, otherwise not. There will be no restriction. You have to go in the clockwise direction or simply in the anti-clockwise direction. You choose a point A only, B only, C only. That is, everything will be left to you. You choose any point, you trace in any direction, then you get the same equation. Then only the statement is correct. Shall I go for analyzing the circuit with the different points and tracing against direction? Yes. Then I must get the same equation. So, are you getting the point here? Minus I1 R1 plus I2 R2 plus I3 R3 is equals to 2 minus C1. The same equation should be reappeared when I take the different point and trace in against direction, opposite direction. So, I analyze it by taking another point for your understanding, so that we cannot by heart the things. So, with free mind we can choose any point and any direction. For loop, which point you want to be take? So, I want to take B point. Shall I take? I take C point. I take the point C and trace in what? Anti-clockwise direction. Now this is my choosing point. For loop CABC, is it anti-clockwise? Yes. For loop CABC. Whatever the point you have started, if you came once again to the same point, then that completion of the loop takes place. So I choose the point C and trace the path in anti-clockwise direction. What is my loop? CABC. Then for IR product, sum of IR product equals sum of EMF IR product. We are moving C to A. Our path is in this direction. Direction of motion is C to A. But the current is opposite to the direction of motion. Then the IR product is taken as negative according to sign convention. Shall I write minus I3 R3? Yes. Then A to B. I am tracing A to B. While moving in a loop, if the current is along the direction of your loop, now this, my tracing path, tracing direction and the current I1 are in the same direction, then the IR product is taken as positive. Plus I1 I1. I1 I1. Then what is my last tracing path? B to C. While moving in a loop, if the current is opposite direction of your motion, then the IR product is taken as negative. Your tracing path is B to C, but current is opposite to the direction of the tracing path. Hence, it is taken as negative minus I2 R2. Is it clear? So I started the C point and came to the C point. Now the loop is over for IR product. Then the same loop for EMF. Sum of IR product is equal to sum of EMF. I go for EMF. Again same. C to A. Do you find any EMF? No cell or battery, no EMF, hence negative. Leave it. Then A to B. You are moving A to B. While moving in a loop, if you go from negative to positive terminal of the battery, A to B, negative to positive, then EMF is taken as positive. So E1 is positive. Then last thing, B to C. You are moving B to C. While moving in a loop, you are moving from B to C, positive to negative. So where you come here? At C point, negative. So your EMF is negative. Minus E. Right? Then I take the negative sign common. When I take the negative sign common, I3 R3 minus I1 R1 plus I2 R2 minus E1 plus A2. Arrange the equation in systematic manner. What we had done earlier. Plus I2 R2 plus I3 R3 is equals to E2 minus E1. Is it the same equation as earlier? Yes. It indicates that it starts with any point and you trace in any direction, your equation is correct. If you understand the sign convention properly. Earlier equation and this equation is same. We have started earlier with A point and trace the proper direction. But in this case, we have started the C point and we went to what? Anti-clockwise direction. Once again, the equation is same. So this is our analysis of cable. After getting the equation, then KVL signifies the law of conservation of energy. How it signifies the law of conservation of energy? Earlier it is very easy for the KCL. Whatever the amount of the charges are entered the junction, the same amount of the charges are left the junction. We concluded that the total charge in the system remains the same. Hence, it signifies the law of conservation of charge. Then what about this? Then I take the little bit backup of from electrostatics. V equals to W by Q. Right? So, charge is nothing but, I take the constant for V is directly proportional to W. So, I can take V equals to W when Q equals to 1. IR product. What is the SI root of potential difference? That is volt. EMF is measured in terms of volt. Similar quantities can be compared. So potential difference equals to work done. So that is EMF. To take the amount of work done to take the charge once around the circuit is known as EMF. Amount of work done by the cell to take the unit positive charge once around the circuit is known as EMF. That EMF is nothing but here. Potential difference, that is nothing but I can call E equals V equals to W. So it is measured in terms of what? That is nothing but work done. Work is measured in terms of joule. Joule is the unit of what? Energy. The total energy remains the same. It means that the energy is neither be created nor be destroyed. The KVL signifies the law of conservation of energy. Simply there is a transformation of what? Energy takes place. So it signifies the law of conservation of energy. So I take the definition of EMF, the amount of work done by the cell to take the unit positive charge once around the circuit. So V equals to W. The work is measured in terms of joule. Joule is the unit of energy. Hence, from this we conclude that the total energy remains the same. That is nothing but. So it signifies the law of conservation of energy. Now this is about what? KVL. So after studying the KCL and KVL, the application of the KCL and KVL, that is nothing but what? The beautiful thing in the topic, that is nothing but what? Wheatstone bridge or Wheatstone network. Name of the scientist Wheatstone. He designed the simple circuit to calculate the resistance or to compare the resistance. For accurate measurement of the resistance or comparison of resistance, the Wheatstone designed the simple circuit, and that is called Wheatstone bridge or Wheatstone network, that is based on KCL and KVL. That is our next topic. So I go next topic. I start with what? Wheatstone network. That is our main thing of the topic, heart of the topic, Wheatstone network. Is it clear? Yes. Thank you.